day, everyone. This is Cyber with Geo. Well, first, let me introduce myself for a sec. I am just a beginner cybersecurity enthusiast, and basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to study and try to analyze some some cybersecurity news and reports, and try to gather as much knowledge from that article. So you can view this as your study buddy, for example, or if you're just like me, that's just starting with cybersecurity, you can, I believe you will learn a lot from this episode. So for this episode, I'm going to study from Bing search to ransomware. Bumblebee and Adaptix C2 deliver Akira. So from the title alone, well, I think it's like, well, the ransomware came from search engine, right? I have no idea what Bumblebee and Adaptix C2 is, as well as Akira. Well, if it's delivered, maybe Akira is the malware, and Bumblebee is what's downloaded. Maybe. Let's read the overview before we before we do our research. So, Bumblebee malware has been an initial access tool used by threat actors since 2021. Initial access tool. So, let's look for that just to clarify what it is. Let's look at it this way. Okay, initial access tool. Initial access consists of techniques that use various entry vectors to gain their initial foothold within a network. So it's a network. So it's techniques that use various entry vectors to gain their initial foothold within a network. Techniques used to gain a foothold include targeted spear phishing. Spear phishing I'm familiar with, so it's basically like a form of phishing, right? But it targets specific individuals. So basically, the malicious actors kind of like have an idea on who they're going to attack. That's why it's called spear phishing, because it's very specific. And because of that, because they know who their target is, they can basically modify and alter, that attack, that phishing attempt to basically to basically to fit their target, and to actually get them to click. Surfacing and exploiting weaknesses on a public-facing web servers. Public-facing web servers. Public-facing web servers. A public-facing web server is a server that is accessible over the internet and provides services or content to external users. These servers are designed to host websites, applications, or APIs that can be accessed by anyone with an internet connection. They're a critical component of modern web infrastructure, enabling organizations to share information, provide services, and interact with users globally. Here's a sample of this. Some websites are exposed to the internet. So basically, is it like a Google Drive? Is it like a Google Drive? Oh, e-commerce. E-commerce platforms. No, no. Google Drive is like a cloud storage, right? But public-facing web servers, you can access the server because it's available on the internet basically. That's what it is, right? So basically like let's say Alibaba, Amazon, and also government portals and educational websites. Just like Coursera, right? Coursera, Udemy, kind of like that. Okay. Techniques used to gain a foothold include targeted spear phishing exploiting weaknesses on a public-facing web server. So basically, e-commerce um, companies are targeted by this because they're the ones that has public-facing web servers, right? Footholds gained through initial access may allow for continued access, like valid accounts and use of external remote services, or may be limited use due to changing password techniques. Let's see. So Bumblebee malware is a tool that is used to have this initial access technique. Let's look at Bumblebee. Let's familiarize ourselves with this one. This malware is delivered by an ISO file. Let's look that up. An ISO file is an archive that contains an exact copy of data from an optical disc, such as CD or Blu-ray, and is commonly used for backup and software distribution. Oh, so it's a copy of data from a CD. So this malware came from CD, is that it? Or it's like you, or is it like you will copy the contents of the CD, and if you execute the contents, then it will be delivered. Then the Bumblebee will be delivered. Is that it? But until inside with a custom loader. Because of the unique user agent Bumblebee, this malware was dubbed Bumblebee at the time of analysis by Google's threat analysis group. Bumblebee was observed to fetch Cobalt Strike payloads. I'm familiar with Cobalt Strike, but let's look that up just to be sure. Cobalt Strike payload. Cobalt Strike is a powerful tool used for penetration testing and red teaming, with its primary payload known as Beacon, which allows for advanced post-exploitation activities. So it's used for, well, penetration testing, but well, the ones that are used for penetration testing, they're actually the ones that are being used by hackers because in order to actually simulate a realistic attack, you will use a realistic tool that are used by malicious actors. So that makes sense. Okay. DLL though, what is that? DLL, what is that? Dynamic Link Library. Dynamic Link Library is a compiled library that contains code and data that multiple programs can use simultaneously. DLL files are essential components in the Windows operating system. Okay, okay. Providing a way to modularize code, promote code reuse, and optimize memory usage. So it's code that are used by the operating system. It's basically a code. Because of this, because of the unique user. Okay. Bumblebee malware has been initial access to used by threat actors since late 2021. Sorry. 2023, the malware was first reported as using SEO poisoning. So we're not familiar with that, so we're going to search SEO poisoning. Bumblebee malware distributed via Trojanized installer downloads. Trojanized installer downloads? SEO poisoning, okay. SEO poisoning SEO poisoning, also known as search poisoning, is a type of malicious advertising. Oh, okay. Where cyber criminals create malicious websites and then use search engine optimization. Oh, okay. SEO means search engine optimization techniques to cause the site's links to show up prominently in search results, often as ads at the top. Because their prominence in the results, users often assume that links connect to websites that are legitimate and safe. Yeah, actually, I'm actually familiar with this. I didn't know what SEO is, but now that I know that it's like search engine optimization, I'm familiar with this. There's like there's a time that um if you search something in Google, like per se, let's say network, normal people what they do is they click on the topmost result because it looks like um it's the most correct, basically, right? Most people don't bother scrolling down to look for things because it's already there, right? This is what you're searching for. And what they do is they put a malvertisement. Is that what it is? Malvertising, yeah. Malicious advertising. So malicious advertisement in here, so that when people click it, they're redirected to a malicious website and then they're attacked there. Yeah. I think this kind of like attacks are going to be very effective if the search engine are not taking care of their search engine. Because a lot of people will actually just do that. I mean, I do that sometimes, right? And if a lot of people does that, a lot of people will be attacked. Techniques to cause the site's links to show up prominently in search results, often as ads at the top. Yeah. Because of the prominence in the result, users often assume the links connect to website elements. One of the main reasons that threat actors use SEO poisoning is to get site visitors to inadvertently download malware traces. Okay, so they even let you download. Oh, yeah, I think when you search for like something with an application, let's say you're looking for a Google Chrome download. I think this happened actually. The topmost what? Well, the topmost search will be an ad, a, malver- a malicious advertising, and it will look like it's legit. It will look like it's like a legitimate download Google Chrome downloading website, but it's malicious website. And if you download Chrome there, it's not a Chrome. It's most likely a malware that you downloaded. Okay, now that we're familiar with that, with SEO poisoning, and we know that it's like search engine poisoning. Search engine, wait, I forgot the O. Optimizations, search engine optimization poisoning, basically. Okay, now that we're familiar with that, in 2023, the malware was first reported as using SEO poisoning. But I thought it's like delivered via ISO file, which is like which came from disks, right? Then how is it used in SSO poisoning, SEO poisoning? Maybe it's the same file. Interesting. Sidetracks. Oh, oh yeah. This is SEO poisoning. I just realized. From Bing search to ransomware. So it's yeah, so this might be well this most likely is an SEO poisoning because it's from Bing, right? And I'm using Bing. Okay. Anyway. Sessions reported on a campaign using this method again, impersonating various IT tools. We observed a similar campaign in July in which a download of an IT management tool ended with AKIRA ransomware. Also, basically, AKIRA is a ransomware. Let's search for AKIRA here. Let's just take a look of like um. Let's just take a look of what Mitre description of Akira. Akira is a ransomware. Can you click on it? It's the same thing. Akira is a ransomware variant and ransomware deployment entity. It's basically a ransomware variant and ransomware deployment entity. Okay. Active since at least March 23, so it's basically a new one. Akira uses compromised credentials to access single-factor external access mechanisms, such as VPNs, for initial access. Compromised credentials? From where? To access single-factor external access mechanisms. Single-factor external access mechanisms. What does that mean? Single-factor authentication. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not familiar with the term. It's a single-factor authentication. Okay. So it's basically like, well, the most common one right now is multi-factor authentications, right? So basically, when you log in to your, let's say, Google account, you have to give your email, you have to give your password, and you also have to confirm a number that is sent directly to your phone, kind of like an OTP or a one-time password. So it's basically sent directly to your phone that you own. That way, you have two factor of authentications, basically your password that you know and your phone, something that you have. So basically that's two factors of authentication. Many uses multi-factor authentications. That's basically what you own, what you what you know, what you have, and basically who you are. So maybe they'll use your fingerprint. It can be part of your multi-factor authentication. Authentication. So single-factor external access means single-factor authentication. That makes sense. Such as VPNs for initial access. Then various publicly available tools and techniques for lateral movement. Okay. Akira Akira operations are associated with double extortion ransomware activity, where data is exfiltrated from victim environments prior to encryption, with threats to publish files if a ransom is not paid. Double extortion. So they do not just encrypt the files, they also they will also threaten to publish it. So it's double extortion. That's what double extortion means. So they'll not only encrypt the files, but they'll also threaten to publish it. Okay. Technical analysis of Akira ransomware indicates variants capable of targeting Windows or VMware, ESXi, hypervisors, and multiple overlaps with Conti ransomware. Conti, what is that? Conti is ransomware as a service. Ransomware as a service? Those things exist? That was first observed in December 2019. Conti has been deployed via TrickBot and used against major corporations and government agencies, particularly those in North America. As with other ransomware families, actors using Conti steal sensitive files and information from compromised networks and threaten to publish this data unless the ransom is paid. What is TrickBot? TrickBot is a Trojan spyware program written in C++ that first emerged in September 2016 as a possible successor to DFIR. TrickBot was developed and initially used by Wizard Spider for targeting banking sites in North America, Australia, and throughout Europe. It has been used against all sectors worldwide as part of big game hunting ransomware campaigns. Some malicious actors they treat this thing like, you know, a pastime, and that I think that's absurd. That's absurd. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get back. Okay, using this method again, impersonating various ID tools will start a similar campaign. Download of an item. So basically, it impersonates IT tools. So when you search for IT tools and you download them, it will turn out that you know they're malwares. Usually, though, you can check this thing up with virus total, right? I mean, when you like, you can put the hash in virus total, and it will return some results to give you some idea. Well, a lot of people don't like it because there's a lot of false positives, but I think it will give you some idea still for those that are not entirely sure about the applications they're downloading. You can visit this website called Firestone. And if you have no idea what, well, you can just choose files here, or you can just paste like a hash to search for a particular hash. If you don't know how to hash, then just choose the file. it will give you some idea, but well, again, it's I think it's for the best to not really trust it 100% and use other websites to confirm, but it will give you some idea. So I think that's nice. Following initial, where are we again? In July 2025, we observed a threat actor compromise an organization through the SEO poisoning campaign. Okay, familiar with that? A user, oh, a user searching for Manage Engine Op Manager. Manage Engine Op Manager was directed to a malicious website, which delivered a Trojanized software. Okay. I wonder if this malicious websites do a drive-by attack, whereas if you went to the website like this, if you click on a website, it will automatically download. Sometimes it does that, right? It's called a drive-by attack. I wonder if that's what this thing, you know, did. But if well, drive-by attacks, the thing is, I think, with them is they're kind of suspicious because they automatically download and you've kind of like be taken aback because you've not really clicked on anything. That's why it's kind of suspicious, and you know you tend to be more wary because of that. But if it's like a proper website that you can scroll and you can click on the application that you want to download, I think it will be more believable and people will actually be um tricked into downloading and installing that file. This action Trojanized software. This action led to the deployment of the Bumblebee malware. So basically, this search is made through the organization's network, right? Trojanized This action led to the deployment of the Bumblebee malware, granting the threat actor initial access to the environment. The intrusion quickly escalated from a single infected host to a full-scale network compromise. Following initial access, the threat actor moved laterally to a domain controller, dumped credentials. Basically, credential dumping is like, you know what, let's stop fine. Maybe I'm not, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Credential dumping. This typically involves extracting sensitive data such as password hashes from the operating system's memory. Credential dumping OS credential. This is my attempt to dump credentials to obtain account login and credential materials, normally in the form of a hash or clear text password. Credentials can be obtained from OS cache, memory, or structures. Credentials can then be used to perform lateral movement access. What does that mean though? Password dumping attacks an attack in which malicious actor hacks into devices. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it basically steals your credentials, that's it, to perform lateral movement. So what he did is he looked for credentials, stole those credentials in order to move laterally. So basically moving laterally is like just moving through the network, accessing different accounts in order to try to escalate privileges, in order to gain more access and exfiltrate more data and do more privileged stuff. Installed persistent remote access tools and exfiltrated data using an SFTP client. SFTP, let's look at that. SFTP client. SFTP. What does that mean? Yep, file transfer protocol. Oh, I thought it's a different thing, but it's just an SFTP. Basically, file transfer protocol. I mean, it's like this is one of the most like commonly used still, right? Like right now, because FTPs are not safe, and SFTP are now widely used because it's the more safer ones. Data using SFTP. The intrusion culminated in the deployment of AKIRA ransomware across the root domain. The threat actor returned 2 days later. The intrusion culminated in the deployment of AKIRA ransomware across the root domain. The threat actor returned 2 days later to repeat the process, encrypting systems within the child domain and causing significant operational disruptions across the enterprise. He came back again, meaning he put a backdoor in order to gain access once again, and they didn't find it. They didn't find the backdoor. Okay. The campaign affected multiple organizations during July as we received a confirmation of a similar intrusion responded to by the Swisscom B2B CSIRT, in which a malicious IT tool dropped the Bumblebee and also ended with a killer ransomware. So it's basically the same thing, and they're trying to use this like attack to attack different enterprises and corporations. Is that it? Oh, I forgot. Yep, deduce. Yep. Okay, so the translation will not be as good, but that's fine. Oh, it's a different thing. What? Oh, it's not. I thought it's an article. It's not. Swisscom, in which a malicious ID tool dropped Bumblebee and also ended with AKIRA ransomware deployment. Okay. DFIR report services. Our customers received notice of this campaign in early July, followed by a private threat brief report. If you're interested in the full report or additional items, please contact us. Oh, this is a report. I'm sorry. It's a service. I'm sorry. This is where we go next. Okay, this is like a more detailed intrusion of how it actually managed to, or how things happened. Okay, intrusion details. The intrusion began when a user searching for Manage Engine Up Manager on Bing was directed to the malicious website upmanager.pro. So this is it, upmanager.pro. Upmanager Manage Engine official website. It's actually so believable though. Like, look at this. It's very believable. The .dot .pro though is like something that you wouldn't want to look. Let's try searching. Let's try searching for this, and let's see if we're going to get a similar. This one is more believable, right? Because it's .com. Usually you will go for something with .com, but the thing is, the thing with this is because it's SEO poisoned, right? So basically this thing showed up right around here on the top because the search engine is poisoned. So I think someone will actually view it as believable just because it's on the top, right? And not like here, right? So I think someone will actually get tricked into clicking that, even though the website looks suspicious because of the, what do you call this again? Top level domain, yeah. Because of top level domain. But if the SEO poison, once again, someone will get tricked 100%. The website though looks very interesting. I wonder what the real one looks like. Oh man. Is it opmanager.com or manageengine.com? What? Is it manageengine.com or opmanager.com? Which one's the real one? What? OP Manager is like based on this, based on the case. I think it's safe to click on this. I think this is the real one. If not, then they put a lot of effort in this. Yeah, yeah. I think this is the real one. If not, then they did put a lot of effort in. You know, you have to like. It's identical. It's identical to the real one. Very much so. Only even knows the country. So we can confirm that it's identical to the real one, and if you're not really observing everything else, it will look like legit. Wait, can I look at something? This way I click it. Click that right. Take a look at the manage engine open. Oh, but they included as, yeah, this is what I'm going to look for. They included a hash to ensure that the file is not the integrity of the file is kept, right? This one, I don't think it, yeah. It does not have anything else. So this one included a hash value to protect the integrity of the application. So that's trusting. And that's basically one of the things that you should look for, right? It included a hash value. This one, I don't think it did include a hash. Because if they did, it will get checked, right? You can just check it right here. I mean, let's okay, this one. Let's put the virus total into work. Yep, because it's the real thing, right? There's no way that they will include a hash. So it will get checked. Okay, let's get back to it. So we now know that well, the website is very identical. Okay, let's go. The user downloaded a Trojanized MSI installer, manage engine. That MSI installer? What is that? An MSI installer is a software component of Microsoft Windows used for installation, maintenance, and the removal of software applications. It operates through the Windows Installer Service, which provides a standard format for managing software components. Hmm. Oh, it did. It did install. So manage engine op-manager.msi, which upon execution installed the legitimate software while simultaneously loading the Bumblebee malware MSIMG32.dll. So this is the code because it's DLL, right? DLL's code. Oh, why am I searching for it? Via consent.exe. They even named it like something that you would not really notice because it's like consent. You know, if they named it like something with virus.exe, a lot of people will like take a notice of that, right? Even if they did not check for this particular log. The Bumblebee malware established command and control with what is this IP address? Let's take a look at the picture again. It's not present. This is the hash look. Very suspicious. This IP address? What is that? DGA domains. What does that mean? Domain generation algorithm. So it produces domains, basically. Oh, this is the IP addresses of the domain in which the command and control are established. Okay, that makes sense. So these are the names. So these are the IP addresses in which the command and control are established. But it's made with DGA, so it's not really um traceable. Is that right? Yep. Yep. That makes sense. The targeting IT management tools and software in both are intrusion and the one observed. Targeting IT management tools and software in both are intrusion and The one observed by Swisscom B2B CSERT. The users executing the malware were highly privileged IT administrator accounts within Active Directory. Oh, that's actually not good. Because right off the bat, they are granted high privilege. Yeah, this provided easy privilege access to threat actors. Yep, because when they started, because the IT management tools were downloaded by a highly privileged IT administrator, they don't have to really do as much work because they're already in there with high privilege. So they can basically do a lot of things already right off the bat. Approximately 5 hours after this initial execution, Bumblebee deployed an Adaptive C2 beacon. Adaptive C2. We have to look on. What is this? Adaptix is an extensible post-exploitation and adversarial emulation framework made for penetration testers. Yes, once again, it's made for penetration testers, but it's also used by mm, threat actors. That again. Adaptix is an extensible post-exploitation and adversarial emulation framework made for penetration testers. The Adaptix server is written in Golang, and to allow operator flexibility, the GUI client is written in C++ Qt, allowing it to be used in Linux, Windows, and Mac OS operating systems. Well, in C2, in command and control, beacons are basically the pathway, right? C2 beacon. Command and control beaconing. It's a type of malicious communication between C and C. Okay, so for persistence and reentry, the threat actors installed the Rust Desk remote access tool on several hosts. In a subsequent session, the threat actor established an SSH tunnel to an external server at 193.242.184, the proxy directive. So basically, they used Rust Desk to have remote access. Basically, it's like a backdoor, right? For persistence and reentry, they installed RDPs to regain access. Yep. Next one is they continued discovery by deploying a renamed Soft Perfect Network Scanner. Following this, they targeted backup server attempting to dump credentials from the VM PostgreSQL database. So Soft Perfect Network Scanners like Soft Perfect Network Scanner can ping computers, scan ports. So basically that's what this is for, to scan some open ports that they can exploit. Once again, protect information about network devices via WMI, SNMP, that scans for remote services. This is a powerful tool. This is actually a powerful tool. And then they targeted a backup server and attempted to dump credentials from the Beam PostgreSQL database. So I searched for this, and PostgreSQL is basically just a database like um commanding, right? It's basically commanding software, right? So it manages commands and manages the database for you. And what they did is they basically write a code to extract some data from the database. What I'm wondering is, here's what I'm wondering. they use credentials, right? So basically, if you're like looking for all of this stuff, you know that they're from credentials. So they're basically telling it to select all of this, username, password, description, change time, etc., etc., from credentials. So basically, they're looking for all of this information from credentials, right? Easy to understand. What I don't understand is that where these credentials came from. Does that mean that they have like initial idea on what kind of like is it like a table? I'm sorry. Is it like a table? I'm not really sure. I forgot. A specified table, yeah. That makes sense. Yep, makes sense. So do they like do they have an idea that it should be from the credentials table? Or is this like a placeholder? If ever this is the right? How are they gonna search? Or is this like kind of is PostgreSQL like the one that the tables, the database are shown on the left side corner? That's why they know what to look for. I'm gonna assume that's it. Oh man, sorry. I'm gonna assume that's it. Around the same time, the threat actor installed FileZilla, a file server, and has filtered data via SFTP to 185.174.100.203. So it's basically just one of the GDAs, right? DGA. So the GDA, right? They perform LSASS, memory dumping. What does that mean? What does that mean? LSASS. Local Security Authority Subsystem Service. It's a critical process in Microsoft Windows operating system responsible for enforcing the security policy on the system. Security policy on the system. Run DLL32.exe with COM-SVCS data. It's a combination of remote services and WMI. The threat LSASS memory dumping. LSASS memory dumping. I am having a hard time understanding. LSASS memory dump. It's a technique often used by penetration testing and red teaming to extract sensitive data with assets stored in memory. Lower management questions. Proc dump is a legitimate Microsoft sys internal step that can be used to dump LSASS memory stuff. Mimikatz. Oh, so you can just do that? I mean, look at this. Look at this method one. Proc dump. Proc dump is a legitimate Microsoft sys internal tool that can be used to dump LSASS memory. Steps. Download. Proc dump from the Microsoft's internal website. That's it. Open an elevated command prompt. Run the following command. Proc dump malsass.exe. And this is it. This one contains the memory. What do you use it for? Oh yeah, to to extract credentials. Okay. Well, hmm. What are the contents of the memory? Because it's like if it's like connected with local security authority subsystem service, maybe it contains like yeah, it verifies users. It verifies user credentials. So what they're trying to extract are the user's credentials because it's stored in there. That makes sense. That's LSASS. Okay. Combination of remote services and WMI. The threat actor then deployed a AKIRA ransomware payload, locker.exe, and executed it with various command line options to encrypt local remote network shares and other directories on remote hosts. 2 days after this ransomware deployment, the threat actor returned via Rastas. Okay, this is one that he installed like preemptively, right? As a backdoor, connected to a child domain controller and performed another round of discovery using invoke sharefinder and domain name system zone export commands before deploying a killer ransomware to the child domain. Time to the first round of ransomware was just shy of 44 hours after initial access. 44 hours after he gained access is what the damage already, with an even faster TTR of just 9 hours from initial access. During our investigation of the OP Manager site, we identified 2 additional websites that appear to be distributing Trojanized installers for access camera tools and Angry IP scanner. Refer to the IOC section for further details. Okay, now let's go to the detection engineering and threat hunting. This what should our focus be, should be. Okay. Hunt for MSI installations from user directories followed by suspicious child processes. Monitor MSI exec.exe executing from user desktop downloads. MSI and spawning unexpected children like concept.exe or unusual image load events for MSI mg32.yml. Review unusual MSI packages with suspicious names. Look for MSI files with generic names like Manage Engine, opmanager.msi, or rustdesk.msi. Download it to user directories. Is this software generally allowed in your environment? Is this your commonly used remote access to for users? Does the software being installed make sense for the users to jump from? Okay, so first, MSI installations. Again, MSI is like, no, wait, where, Oh, that MSI. Yep, sorry. Yep, installation information for a particular install. Microsoft software installer. User directories followed. So basically, suspicious child processes are what you're looking for, right? When you're looking for like MSI installation. So basically, this one I think is normal, right? This is the normal one. But if it spawns like unexpected children like consent.exe, this is where you should be very wary. Or this one. Basically, TLL is like codes, right? Is it an image load event? DLL is like, what is this? Dynamic link library. Okay, so that's what we look for. That's what should we look for. Consent.exe or unusual image. Okay. Next one is review unusual MSI packages with suspicious names. MSI package. Look for MSI files with generic names like manage engine, up, manager.msi, or Rastas. Download to user directories is the software environment. So basically, if you found out like softwares that are not really connected to the file that you installed, it's a time to be very suspicious. Right? Credential access. Hunt for LSASS memory dumping via COM-SVC-STTLL with task list enumeration. Oh man, I don't know what it is. What is going on with here? I have no idea what's going on. One thing that I do though is like if I want to like search for something, I go to my like let's say DeepSeek, and wait. Okay, looks like we have to answer some captcha here. Okay, this is what I do. I kind of like use a Copilot or ChatGPT or DeepSeek to assist me in like trying to understand what the code is, just to get a general idea. I mean, not sure if I'm going to remember any of it, but I think familiarity is very important. So, okay, cmd.exe./q/c runs the command quietly, okay, and terminates after execution. Okay, /f tokens equals 1 and 2 delims equals quotation parses the output of the command line inside the single quotes, splitting each line into tokens based on spaces. Task list/fi image name lists processes with the image name. Okay. Find LSASS filters the output to lines containing LSASS. Okay. It didn't use the pipe though. So meaning the output of this, of all of this codes, of all the scripts, I mean, will be passed through this code. presents the first and second tokens that filled it up. Steps to invoke a function. Okay. I kind of understand some, but I still have no idea. Okay. Detect LSAS stumps with unusual file extensions. Monitor run DLL32.txt, com svcs.dll, writing to Windows temp with non-standard extensions like sysdocs. Monitor PostgreSQL credentials extraction from Beam databases, BSQL. Can this one be viewed through, let's say, Splunk? Like credentials extractions like this? Or it should be like something with like Snort or like TCP dump or Wireshark. Well, Wiresharks are, well, I think you can if it's extracted through the network. And this attack is like extracted to the network. So I think Wireshark can view some of it. Monitor. Monitor WB admin abuse for NTDS. That slash hive dumping. NTDS.dit, what is that? NTDS.dit, what is that? The NTDS.dit file is the Active Directory database file used by Windows servers to store directory information. It contains all the data for a domain, including user accounts, okay, user accounts, groups, computer accounts, and other directory objects. Okay. NTDS.dit. I'm going to remember that. That seems very important. Discovery. Hunt for rapid domain enumeration sequences within short time frame. Rapid domain enumeration sequence. Rapid domain enumeration sequence. What does that mean? I mean, looking at this, I don't understand nothing. I guess I'm going to have to search for that. Okay. Domain and subdomain enumeration is unsure when assessing a company's secret posture. It typically serves as starting point for penetration tests, secret assessments during mergers and acquisitions, and scope identification in bug bounty programs. Disclaimer: these articles may strategies with the public bug bounty. Measure check the secure information. Only check the main entrance to ignore backdoors. Okay. Put themselves to the front door. To look for the path of least resistance. Domain and subdomain enumeration is likely through thoroughly It's like thoroughly checking every possible entry point to ensure nothing is accidentally left unlocked or unprotected. Through domain and subdomain enumeration are essential for uncovering an organization's full external posture. So it's like port scanning, right? Port scanning is like scanning for active ports, scanning for open ports that are not used, and domain and subdomain enumeration is basically the same thing. Domain and subdomain is basically the same thing. Is that it? Okay, so it basically looks for a lot of different domains within short time frames. Well, if that's the case, yeah, that actually makes sense because they're looking for an entry point, right? Monitor for DNS zone exports, targeting multiple domains. Look for export DNS server zone commands, targeting MSDCS and trust anchors within the same session. Export DNS server zone. What is that? Export DNS from Canon. What is nothing. Microsoft provides a slew of DNS commands to interact with the DNS servers and work with zones and other type of operations. The first command that caught my eye was my use of exporting a DNS zone from one level environment and exporting the zone in another level environment was to export DNS server zone. Creates a file containing a resource request for an Active Directory integrated zone for troubleshooting purposes. This file is not in the same format as file. cmdlet, what is that? Commandlet is a lightweight command used in PowerShell environment. Commandlet are native PowerShell commands that are not standalone executables but are instances of .NET classes. They're designed to perform specific actions and typically return a .NET object to the next command in the pipeline. .NET? What is that? Computer software framework. Okay, it's basically a computer software framework then. Man, I have a lot to study for. What is this also? No, it's a subdomain. Subdomain is DNS. I feel I have not done a good job explaining what the MSDC subdomain is and how it is used in Active Directory for us. Okay, wait. So basically everything here revolves around Active Directory, and I have no idea what Active Directory is. I'm not familiar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back. I'm going to end the episode here and actually study Active Directory just a little bit, just to have like a general idea of everything that's happening, because I have no idea what's going on. So I'm going to post this video, but I'm going to end it here. But I'm going to post a part 2 after studying Active Directory and being familiar with everything else, because this I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. Up until here at least. I think too much information of the Active Directory is missing from my stock knowledge. That's where I need to come back. Command and control, I'm pretty much familiar, but yeah, let's get back to that. So I'm going to get back. I'm just going to study for a little bit, just be a little bit more familiar with everything. And see ya. Thank you very much for listening and joining me.